Look at your legs right now. After 60, the system that builds and repairs leg muscle is quietly shutting down, and most people have no idea it's happening. Today I'm going to show you 6 specific foods that directly target the 3 biological pathways destroying your legs, and most of my patients see a real difference in 6 to 8 weeks. 74-year-old patient. Fallen twice in 6 months. Afraid of her own staircase. 8 weeks after we made one change to her breakfast, she walked up those stairs without touching the railing. And number 6 on this list. Harvard researchers have identified it as one of the most powerful muscle protective compounds available after 60. Most doctors have actually been telling their patients to avoid it. Stay with me. Your legs are not weak because you're getting old. They're weak because nobody told you what to feed them. A Journal of the American Geriatric Society study found adults over 65 with lower body muscle weakness had a 72% higher risk of mobility disability within 5 years. 72%. Nearly 3 out of 4 people who could have changed that and didn't because they didn't know what we're about to cover. These 6 foods directly target the biological pathways that make aging legs fail. Here's what nobody's telling you about why your legs weaken. After 60, your body develops anabolic resistance. Your muscles become stubborn. They stop responding to protein signals the way they used to. At the same time, your nitric oxide, the molecule that controls blood flow through your legs, drops dramatically. Nutrients can't get in. Waste can't get out. The muscle quietly starves. That is the real mechanism. And the 6 foods on this list each target a different part of that breakdown. Let's get into it, starting with fix number 1. Start here. You can do this tonight. Eggs are one of the most complete sources of leucine on the planet. Leucine is the amino acid that triggers muscle protein synthesis, the biological process that actually builds and repairs muscle tissue. 2 whole eggs deliver approximately 1.08 grams of leucine. Research from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign found that amount is sufficient to stimulate muscle repair even in older adults with significant anabolic resistance. But here's the part most people miss. The yolk, the part you were told to throw away, contains choline, vitamin D, and a compound called phosphatidylcholine that maintains the integrity of your muscle cell membranes. Throwing away the yolk is like buying a car and leaving the engine at the dealership. I tell my own family this. One of my patients, Margaret, 74 years old, had fallen twice in 6 months. She was terrified of her own staircase. She'd been avoiding eggs for a decade on old advice. We added 3 whole eggs to her morning routine. Within 8 weeks, she walked up her stairs without holding the railing, for the first time in 2 years. Practical instruction: 2 to 3 whole eggs in the morning. Cook them on low heat with a small amount of olive oil, which we'll get to. Gentle cooking preserves protein integrity. Do not cook them dry in a hot pan. Right now, stand up if you're sitting. How confident do you feel on your feet compared to 5 years ago? If that answer made you pause, keep watching. So, why isn't protein alone enough? That's what Fix 2 reveals, and this one surprises most people. Most people think of Greek yogurt as a light snack. This is wrong. Full-fat Greek yogurt is one of the most anabolically powerful foods available to an aging body, and it's dramatically underused. A single cup delivers 17 to 20 grams of high-quality protein, including all 3 branched-chain amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. These are absorbed directly into muscle tissue with remarkable efficiency. But what elevates Greek yogurt above a simple protein source is this. It contains live probiotic cultures, specifically lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, that influence something researchers now call the gut-muscle axis. Research from the University of California, Davis found that healthy gut microbiome populations in older adults correlated directly with greater lean muscle mass, better leg strength scores, and faster recovery. Your gut is not just digesting your food. It is determining how much of that food your muscles can actually use. After 65, your gut microbiome becomes less diverse, less capable. Greek yogurt helps restore that diversity. Think of it like restocking a library that's been losing its books. Practical instruction: 1 cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt within 30 to 45 minutes of any physical activity, even a short walk. That is your anabolic window. Always full-fat. Low-fat versions replace the fat with added sugar, which drives the inflammation we're trying to fight. Add a tablespoon of ground flaxseed for additional omega-3s. One of my patients did everything else on this list perfectly, still had the problem. In 10 seconds, I found why. That's fix number 3. I've never seen another channel talk about this the way the research actually describes it. After the age of 75, your body loses approximately 35% of its ability to recycle nitric oxide, the molecule that controls blood flow through your legs. When nitric oxide falls, your microcirculation congests. The tiny vessels feeding your quadriceps, hamstrings, and calves can't deliver nutrients or clear waste. Muscles fatigue faster, recover slower, and shrink year by year. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, and arugula are loaded with dietary nitrates, which your body converts back into nitric oxide through bacteria in your saliva. You are literally using food to bypass what aging stole. The Karolinska Institute in Sweden found that nitrate intake equivalent to about 200 grams of spinach improves skeletal muscle efficiency in older adults by 19%. The muscle didn't grow bigger. It ran cleaner. Think of it like upgrading the fuel injection system on an old engine. Spinach is also one of the richest dietary sources of magnesium. Research suggests 68% of Americans over 60 are chronically deficient. 1 cup of cooked spinach delivers 157 milligrams, 37% of your daily requirement, in a single serving. When your legs cramp at night, when your calves seize up, that is almost always a magnesium signal. Robert was 71, a retired postal worker who came to me with legs that felt, in his words, like concrete every morning. He'd been taking magnesium supplements for years with limited results. We switched to 2 cups of sautéed spinach daily with olive oil and garlic. 6 weeks later, the concrete feeling was gone. He was walking his old male route again, just for the joy of it. Practical instruction. 2 cups cooked spinach daily, sautéed in olive oil. Always cook your greens in a quality fat. It dramatically increases absorption of the fat-soluble compounds. That's not optional, it's the mechanism. When was the last time you ate dark leafy greens 5 days in a row? If you're thinking hard, that gap might be exactly why your legs feel the way they do. Your doctor told you to do the opposite of what number 4 says. The science explains why. If you only remember one thing from this video, make it this. The standard advice for leg weakness is, eat more protein. That is not wrong, but it is incomplete. Chronic inflammation in your muscle tissue is quietly dismantling everything protein tries to build. And wild-caught salmon addresses that inflammation in a way that most protein sources never can. The active compounds are EPA and DHA, omega-3 fatty acids. Inflammation in aging muscle tissue works like a low-level forest fire. It burns constantly. It chars the muscle fibers, the connective tissue, the nerve pathways that send signals from your brain to your legs. EPA and DHA are the water-bombing aircraft. They chemically neutralize the inflammatory compounds, specifically prostaglandins and cytokines, that your body produces in increasing amounts after 60. A study from the University of Aberdeen followed 87 adults over 65 for 18 weeks. The group consuming omega-3s equivalent to 3 servings of wild salmon per week experienced a 22% increase in muscle protein synthesis rate compared to the control group. That is not a supplement. That is a fish. Salmon also delivers vitamin D3, the active form your skin can no longer efficiently produce after 70. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found vitamin D deficiency, affecting an estimated 77% of adults over 65, is directly associated with muscle weakness and impaired balance. One 6-ounce serving of wild-caught sockeye salmon delivers up to 988 international units of vitamin D3. The daily minimum for adults over 70 is 800 IU. You hit it in one meal. Practical instruction. Wild-caught only, farm salmon has a dramatically different omega-3 ratio and does not provide the same benefit. 2 to 3 servings per week. Pair with a handful of dark leafy greens to activate the vitamin K2 synergy between them. Everything so far handles the inflammation and the protein. But Fix 5 targets something completely different, something that most seniors never think about. This is the part that changes everything, and most people laugh when I say it. Beets contain dietary nitrates at concentrations 3 to 4 times higher per gram than any leafy green. One medium beet contains approximately 300 milligrams of dietary nitrates. When those nitrates reach the oxygen-depleted environment of working muscle tissue, they convert to nitric oxide with extraordinary efficiency, triggering what researchers call a vasodilatory cascade. A wave of blood vessel opening that floods your legs with oxygen and nutrients in a way that aging vascular tissue normally cannot produce on its own. A study at Wake Forest University found that older adults who consumed the equivalent of 2 medium beets before moderate exercise showed a 38% increase in blood flow to the brain regions associated with motor control. Not just what was happening in their legs, but the brain's ability to control their legs. For anyone worried about coordination, falls, that split-second loss of balance, this is significant. Beets are also rich in betaine, which reduces homocysteine, a compound elevated in approximately 47% of adults over 60 that is associated with accelerated muscle loss and impaired mitochondrial function. Pause this video right now. Go check your supplement label for homocysteine-related B vitamins and write beets on your shopping list. I'll be here when you get back. Elena was 68, told by 3 separate physicians that her leg weakness was simply aging. She was walking with a cane. We added 2 roasted beets to her lunch 4 days a week, plus a short daily walk. 12 weeks later, she walked into my office without the cane. She was gardening again. Practical instruction: roast beets at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 to 60 minutes. Do not boil. Water-soluble nitrates leach out. You can also blend raw beets into a smoothie with a small amount of citrus juice. Vitamin C dramatically increases nitrate conversion efficiency. Pair with any lean protein for one of the most powerful pre-activity meals available to the aging body. Now, number 1. I promised you at the start of this video that one food would change the way you see your grocery list forever. This is it. Most people think fat is neutral. Something you cook with. Extra virgin olive oil is not neutral. It is arguably the most comprehensively muscle-protective food on this entire list. Let me show you exactly what I mean. EVOO contains a polyphenol called oleocanthal. Oleocanthal functions in your body almost identically to ibuprofen. It inhibits the same inflammatory enzymes that prescription anti-inflammatories target. Without the gastric bleeding, kidney strain, or cardiovascular risk. For seniors who rely on NSAIDs for joint and muscle pain, this distinction matters enormously. But the mechanism that Harvard researchers found most compelling goes deeper. The polyphenol in EVOO, over 30 distinct compounds, appear to directly stimulate what's called mTOR pathway signaling in muscle cells. The mTOR pathway is the master switch for muscle protein synthesis. It's the same switch that leucine activates, that resistance exercise activates, that anabolic hormones activate. Olive oil polyphenol turn on that switch independently. They don't require exercise. They don't require elevated hormones. They work in the cell regardless of what else is happening around it. A landmark study from the University of Athens, 840 adults over 65, followed for 3 years, found those who consumed a minimum of 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily showed a 37% lower incidence of sarcopenia. 37% lower. From olive oil. Additionally, a compound called hydroxytyrosol, found abundantly in EVOO, protects mitochondrial DNA in muscle cells from oxidative damage. As we age, our mitochondrial DNA accumulates errors, like a manuscript photocopied too many times. Instructions become corrupted. Muscle cells produce less energy, recover more slowly. Hydroxytyrosol slows that degradation. Thomas was 81. Retired Navy commander. Could not walk more than 2 blocks without stopping. His diet was clean, very low fat, very lean. He'd been avoiding fat for 30 years based on the guidelines of his era. I tell my own family this story because it matters. We introduced 4 tablespoons of high-quality extra virgin olive oil into his daily routine. 2 in the morning over eggs, 2 at lunch over vegetables. We made no other changes for the first month. At 6 weeks, he walked 4 blocks without stopping. At 12 weeks, he was back on his bicycle. At 6 months, he completed a 2-mile charity walk. He sent me the photograph from the finish line. I have it on my office wall. Practical instruction: 4 tablespoons daily is the evidence-based target. Use it as your primary cooking fat on low to medium heat. Drizzle it generously over vegetables, eggs, fish, and everything else on this list. Buy it in dark glass bottles and look for a harvest date, not just an expiration date. Polyphenol content degrades with light and time. Fresh olive oil is medicine. Old, bargain shelf, clear bottled olive oil is just fat. This is the one synergy that ties this entire list together. EVO improves the absorption of the fat-soluble vitamins in eggs, spinach, and salmon. When you combine all 6 of these foods consistently, the cumulative effect on your leg's strength, inflammation, mitochondrial health, and mobility is dramatically greater than any single food achieves alone. They are system. Let's try something together right now. Sit up straight, both feet flat on the floor. Now slowly stand up, without using your hands. Just your legs. If that was harder than it should be, or if you had to use the armrest, you just identified exactly which muscles need what we talked about today. You might want to save this video and rapid recap. 6 eggs for leucine and muscle cell integrity. Greek yogurt to activate the gut-muscle axis. Spinach to restore nitric oxide and magnesium. Wild salmon to neutralize the inflammation destroying everything else. Beets to flood your legs with blood flow and help your brain control them. And extra virgin olive oil to turn on the master switch, the one your body stopped activating on its own. This is not an extraordinary grocery list. Every item is available in virtually every store in the world. And starting with your next meal, these foods can begin giving back what most people in your position have resigned themselves to losing: the freedom to move through your own life with strength, confidence, and joy. Which of these 6 surprised you most? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. Save this video. Come back to the stand-up test in 8 weeks. You'll want to compare. Those 6 fixes handle the structural side of leg strength. But there's one mineral that determines whether they work at all. I made a video on exactly how to use it. Watch it next.